Hey everyone, my name's Joey. Today's video is going to be about my AM Animation Mentor Class 1 experience. I just finished up with Class 1 of 6. They're all 12-week courses, so if you're interested in looking into Animation Mentor, I'd highly suggest it first of all. Second of all, watch the rest of the video to see the assignments we have to do, to see if it's something that that's worth doing for you. And at the end of it, I posted like the final reel for the class, and I'm obviously growing, but just want to give a little recap on that just so that we can see my progression through the videos. I want to do this for each class just to kind of give a rundown, and I can just look at it as a little timestamp, to see my progression. But thanks for coming. Like, subscribe, comment, that whole deal. I appreciate you guys so much. Stay tuned for the rest of it.
So for assignment 1, they had us do the typical ball bounce. This was my first time doing a ball bounce in 3D. Well, not my first time, because I took an Intro to Maya class, which taught us the real basic fundamentals of the program itself, which I do recommend doing because I literally had no idea how to use 3D software like Blender or Maya or anything like that prior to that class. It was only 6 weeks, but Class 1 is 12 weeks. They have 6 classes in Animation Mentor. This is the first class of 6, and this is the first assignment of that first class. But yeah, they basically have you doing the ball bounce so that you learn arcs and squash and stretch. And basically, the ball bounce is the fundamental animation practice because it can be applied to so many different things like walk cycles and all sorts of different avenues it can be applied to in like more complex animation. Yeah, let's go on to assignment number 2. So for the next week, assignment number 2 is essentially just polishing up that ball bounce, and I use a different rig this time because I wanted to see the ball rotating. That can definitely help the adding realism to the roll at the end. But yeah, definitely polish this one up a little bit more, and on to assignment number 3. Light and heavy ball bounce. You take one ball, you make it drop really heavy. You take one ball and you make it seem like it's dropping very light. And the rolls at the end, using those rigs that show the rotation again. This went on for about a week. Or every assignment basically has a week. You do the assignment and then the revision on the week prior. But during the week that you're doing the revision for this assignment, you'll be working on the new assignment. So you'll be submitting more than one things per week. But it's very fun, and I really enjoyed this session of the ball bounce because it really got me into timing and spacing, and those arcs are really fun to play around with once you start getting the hang of it. Moving on to the next week, we got the Pendulum Swing. You're using a jointed pendulum that has 3 joints, and you're going to use overlapping action to simulate basically a moving chain after it's been stopped by like some sort of wall of force. And this week is like definitely when things start ramping up a bit more. You have to learn how to overlap things in the graph editor and move things, just basically moving the chain to where it's like kind of offsetted by a couple frames or so to make the chains really look like they're overlapping. I really enjoyed learning about this and watching various videos on YouTube and just studying through the mentors and the help given, but this one was definitely a really tough one. So this is about halfway, I guess, through the course. You're maybe not half, it's about halfway, and you're really starting to amp things up. So for assignment number 5, we have the 3-jump squirrel. They use this Taylor squirrel rig, and basically you just have to make it jump 3 times, and you're wanting to see the overlap in the tail. This one was sort of tough for me. I couldn't really figure out how to get those tail movements in the middle of the jump, but the critiques I was given by my mentor definitely helped me out along the way. It took about like 2.5 weeks to get this thing to where it is. Before, it was just all blocky and the tail was whipping around all over the place, but I did kind of like a spin on the second jump, which is pretty cool. I wanted to kind of like break out of my comfort zone and do something that not everyone was doing. But I did enjoy this one as well, as I enjoyed most of the assignments. It was a good learning process, and I feel like I definitely learned a lot throughout this semester. the next couple weeks are just basically focusing on walk cycles and the character walk. So let's move on to those. This assignment here was sort of like a breaking point. The vanilla walk cycle, just making a character walk as normal as possible, was very exciting just to know that, wow, I've come this far, I can make this character walk across the stage and make it look relatively okay without, anything going crazy, make it look super wonky. I mean, to me, it looks like he's walking across. Obviously, there's some things I could fix, but for the most part, I was pretty hyped about this, just knowing that I can, formulate this in 5 weeks, 6 weeks, I can just completely jump into this. Like, that was kind of amazing in my opinion. But yeah, so we spent about 2 or 3 weeks on this one. Week by week, we started with the blocking phase, and then we moved it into spline mode. Spline mode is just basically adding those in-betweens. Blocking is just adding just the keyframes and nothing but. So it kind of feels like stop motion animation inside of a 3D program. The next week is the character walk, which I wasn't too happy about it, particularly with what I came up with, but I have been working on it on my own because we just ended class 1 this week pretty much. So I'm going to still be working on some of these shots just to make them a little bit more refined, and I can put them in the reel. At the end of the video, I'm going to show you a finalized reel of just what I've done, and at the end of that, it's just all the posing, or just a collage of all the posings I did throughout the semester. But yeah, let's move on to the character walk, even though I'm not too happy with it, but gotta show you, it's part of the video. Okay, so for this assignment, it's supposed to be the full 4 sessions of the walk, I guess, 1, 2, 1, 2, but I just have the 1, 2 right now because my mentor suggested that I should probably just break it down halfway and start working on it and polishing it. So that's what I'm doing currently because I felt super embarrassed about it, and I kind of posted it incomplete, and I just felt really guilty about it. So yeah, I'm just trying to polish that up and try to make it look as good as possible, but promise you it looks way better than it did before. There's a lot of sliding going on. There still is on some of the feet, but I'm happier with it now than I was before, and I'm gonna finish the back end of it soon. But it's basically just a happy-go-lucky walk. Look what I'm having a great day. That's what the character walk is. We could choose anything. A lot of people do the sneak walks, or angry walks and cowboy walks and stuff like that. But I decided to do a nice little kick your foot out, nothing to worry about here. Little walk. But let's move on over to the final. I'll just stitch these all together so you can see them all in one good clip, and we'll finish off the video. I hope you enjoyed watching this and seeing the process of how my last 12 weeks of animation school has been, because I'm super excited to be actually getting my hands dirty with the assignments and finally doing something along the lines of animation, because as you know from the last video, I haven't been able to do animation throughout my entire college career, so this is super exciting for me. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you like, comment, and subscribe, the whole deal. But yeah, watch the end for the reel.